Hey everybody, Shay here. You know what time it is. It's Steam sale year. It's twice a year. It's December and it's June. Those are the big ones that my wish list like blows up, and I've been fighting myself not to buy games. I'm gonna be doing a first impression series in 2025 so that I can start just clipping through some of the games that I have. And if I don't have time to clear them right away, that's okay. I would like to enter the year being able to float through games the way I float through books and other experiences, and loosen up a little bit about what gets presented on the channel, because I really want to double down on the experience versus product. And one type of game I'd like to get more into next year is definitely visual novels. I am working my way through Steins Gate. There's this one that keeps popping up. It is a linear bounded phanogram. I don't want to watch the video to this because I could be spoiling things in Steins Gate, but it's here. It's a pretty solid sales price. It's just crazy how expensive visual novel games are at full retail price in Canadian dollars right now. It's $71.99. That's crazy to me, because not to say that they're lesser games. I'm just saying that if they're like books, they should be priced like books. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm expecting too much. In any case, I'm not going to be watching this one. I'm not going to watch Persona 3, although I don't think it can really spoil Persona 4. But because this is like the newer release, I don't want to feel like I want to play Persona 3 before Persona 4. We got some Dark Souls games in here just to keep an eye on them. They tend to go on sales at different times, but I'm still not like, I mean, it could be a wild card for 2025. Dark Souls 2, the non-Scholar of First Sin edition is what I've been told to get. Just for reasons. And then Dark Souls 3, possibly some Elden Ring. I have never seen the trailer to Elden Ring yet. I know, crazy, but pretty solid sale there. We got God of War here. I got this on the PlayStation 4, but it being on PC, it's tempting. It's tempting. I keep getting recommended this game. I'm not going to watch the trailer yet. I think I watched... What was the God of War game that came out before this God of War game? I feel like I watched a trailer to God of War. Like all of them. Like for the first God of War, the second God of War, and the third God of War. Is there a God of War 4? Like I don't even know what the iterations are anymore. Like I know there was a 1 and 2 on the old systems, you know? And I'm pretty sure I reacted. Oh my God, now I'm saying I'm pretty sure. I'm not pretty sure. Anyways, we got Hogwarts Legacy. Solid sales price here. 75% off. I've been tempted to play this character I have called Somli, which I played in Inquisition, Dragon Age Inquisition. And I'm like, what are the games I'm going to play Somli in? Because it came up in Discord with Cyberpunk 2099. I was like, I could probably figure out a way to play Somli, because it's like I like to take concepts that, like, this one's a fantasy concept, like he's a necromancer that does golem stuff, you know, and he worships fire. And so my thing is like, how do you play that in a cyberpunk world? And that's sometimes what I like to kind of bash these concepts against, to kind of go, what would the multiverse version of this, the Elseworlds version of this, the what if version of this character be like in a setting that doesn't really fit in? Like, how could I mess with the concepts to have some fun there? I feel like this has turned into a completely different vlog. So maybe this is just going to be an update vlog, and I'll talk about the games on my wish list, I guess. Hey, are we gonna do that? Yeah, because this is random. I turned this on randomly. I just want to connect with people, man. It's after the I'm in between the holiday of Christmas and New Year's, and I just feel like chilling. I feel like chilling and talking. I got some Iron Maiden wine here, man. You know what? This is actually pretty good. It's brewed in Porto, Portugal. It's crazy. It's a red. It's really good. I mean, my favorite band of all time, of course, since I was a teenager. It's playing in I bought a new car. Yep, I'm derailing. Van. I'm selling my other ones because I want a road trip van vehicle. And I have Iron Maiden playing on loop. Digital Iron Maiden on Spotify. Derailment. Okay, let's move on. We have Nonary Games, and this was the trailer I wanted to watch because this price is really good. It's been sitting here for so long that I don't remember where and when it got recommended to me, but it is here. It is a very positive review. So it's not overwhelmingly positive, so I'm not sure what's the consensus out there. I got until, what is this date? The sales date is like January 2nd or something like that. So maybe I'll release this first. All right, hear me out. And so this is an update, a random update, I guess. And I'm going to pick up some games on this list. There are some sales prices here that are really, really good. So let's move on. We got AI, the Somnian Files, another visual novel right here, right? And then Story Rich. I want to get into these games next year. I really want to dig in. I don't know how many hours. I haven't looked at the how long to beat timelines for these things, so these could be completely overwhelming. For 80% off and 85% off, that's crazy. So these might just get purchased. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts? If there's any visual novel fans out there, let me know what you think. And yeah, there we go. We'll see if maybe I throw those into a basket and then we cash out. If I was doing this live stream, maybe that would be actually kind of fun, but I still don't trust my internet. I got Class of '09. This just recently came up, and it is overwhelmingly positive, and I'll dig into this a little bit more. It's so cheap, you know, and so it's probably a fast game too. I can't imagine this being a very long experience considering the price. We got Franbow. I remember this coming up a lot, like in 2016 YouTube kind of thing, 17. I think it came out earlier than that. It says right here, 2015. So I remember Markipliers and stuff like that. I remember those because I was watching Let's Plays back then. I remember this one coming up and it was kind of creepy. It felt like Nightmare, like Tim Burton-esque, you know, that kind of feeling is what I got from Fran Brow. But I don't. It's been 8 years, so I wouldn't mind digging into this one again, checking out some trailers and seeing what's up. Again, that price is really good for $5. It's crazy. We got what? Pentiment. I don't know where this one got recommended. It was likely in the comments below, and I usually put comments, suggestions into here, and then I just track them through the years, and then a wild card or two get pulled every year. And I mean, most of them sit in my Steam library because I'm not playing games fast enough. Like, I want to play the games, but when it comes to playing and producing the games, I don't want to spend 3 times the amount of time in a game because I'm producing the game as well. And then when I do that to a long game, like a 100-hour game, that's 300 hours for me, right? Give or take, but that's pretty much what it is. I just started YouTube to share experiences, you know? And so when it comes to these smaller games, they sort of get left behind because I have to edit, you know? But then I think, like, man, if I play a game for 100 hours, like 200 hours where I spent producing, doing stuff on the channel, managing things, like editing, of course. But I go, how many games could I have cleared in 200 hours? I am way more cognizant of that this year. I have to come up with a plan for next year. This could have just been a New Year's video, for example. I could have just done a New Year's, like maybe a recap of 2024. How y'all doing? New Year's coming, you know. I could have I can just release this on New Year's and no one will be the wiser. But no, we're gonna have it. I'll come up with something. It'll be random, and I'll probably do more of these update videos along the way because I feel like it. How's that? For the people who want to check this out and chill. So let's move on. We have Oberdin. I don't remember where this was suggested. It was a while ago. Good vibe. I don't know anything about it. I just hover. When I hover over it, it looks like a cool style, pixelated style. It looks kind of oldie, but I have no idea what this could be about. And I am curious because of that, because it was suggested by someone out there, and now I kind of want to dig into it because, again, I just put them on the wish list and they just sit here until I'm like, I just want 3 games or something like that I'm going to randomly pick out of this every time there's a sale. But man, then they just get lost in my Steam directory. So we have Nier Automata. I mean, I've heard about this game for so long, and I never ever had intentions of playing it. I don't remember where this again got suggested along the way, but it's a game that it gets talked about enough that maybe I should just keep an eye on it, and we'll see. It could be a wild card. I have no idea. I have no idea what people are interested in nowadays, and some of these games are still very old. I still have to figure out where they fit in like my chronology backlog and stuff like that, and maybe they'll pop up, you know? Or I'll hear comments from all of you, and I'll get some vibes. I need some vibes from the folks who are active on this channel, and I want to be active. Like, that's, I think, what's missing, because this channel is getting crippled by the fact that it's been spread out thin over the last 2-3 years. My doing. I get it. Let's move on. But it's just, now I need to sort of maneuver the channel in a way that makes this a place that I think, not just for me to find a place to chill and hang out, but I want it to be a place that other people can chill and hang out again. And if that's still a thing, if it's not, it's cool. You know, everyone moves on. We're all getting older. I've talked about this in other vlogs, but for those of you who are new here or hearing it for the first time, it's sort of like I'm trying to sum up my thoughts from the entire year as I go through these games. Stalker just recently came up. Stalker 2 just got released. Of course, that's probably why it was buzzing in people's heads. I did quickly look into Shadow Chernobyl. I looked at a video talking about the best way to install it with the mods, and then that just completely derailed. Like, it just derailed. It made me more confused about what I would do if I were to start this game. It's very cheap. The trailer I saw of it, it was very difficult for me to see what was going on in the setting. Like, the gameplay itself was very disorienting to my eyes. I can't explain it. It didn't feel like a game that would land on me just because of that. And because it was the older graphics mixed in with the fact that I can't see things in the field or something like that. Like, I can't see loot on the ground. It was very difficult. Or a dog, I think, or the hell was running through the bush. I'm like, I can't even see the creature. So, like, I can't imagine what that kind of experience that would be for me. And so I don't see how that would portray itself for the audience. So there's mods that you can install, but then that's where everything just goes nuts. It goes nuts, everybody. So I'm going to leave that one alone for now. I do have an eye on them, and look how cheap they are. Very regularly are they this cheap. So no real rush. We got Power World in here, of course, big blast off of this year. A lot of great attention out there, a lot of gameplay. I saw quite a bit of them. I really enjoyed watching people play Power World. I just like the new take on Pokemon open world exploration. It was a lot of fun. It looked like a lot of fun. So I'm here keeping an eye on it. Hopefully they don't get sued into oblivion by Nintendo. And we're gonna move on. Greedfall 2. I really enjoyed Greedfall. I like the idea of it. I like the world building, and yeah, the story was good too. The narrative was good. It was unique. It felt different, and that's missing in the space, But it went completely under the radar. AA studio, right? Not AAA, but it was like a studio of like not a lot of people. Like I remember I was following Spiders. The Spiders is a studio, and it's just I felt like they pulled off a lot for the team that they had, but went under the radar, and it's crazy. And this is mixed reviews, so I'm kind of feel bad about it, but I'm keeping an eye on it, just because I really did enjoy the setting of this game, and well, we'll see. It could be a wild card someday. Hellboy, Web of Weird. You can't see behind my chair here, but I have a whole like chunk of my shelf back there is dedicated to Hellboy, PPRD, Abe Sapien, the novels of Hellboy. I got everything that's Hellboy. I have above me, you can barely see it somewhere above the Lone Wolf and Cub. It's Hellboy HeroClix, the special collector's edition of HeroClix, because I was big into HeroClix back in the day, and I think I went to a convention or something like that, and I saw these at a Gen Con, and yeah, Hellboy, how to get him. So I knew there was a game coming out, but mixed positive. I'm like, oh, I'm not. I would like to maybe experience it, but at the same time, I've got so many other things to play, man. And so, like, when I see reviews like this, I'm like, well, now I'm not, because I keep on being disappointed lately, man. And it doesn't help my motivation, because I've been reading a lot. I've got another 20 books I just bought off out of a thrift shop today. So it's just like I've been buying books again and reading them like crazy, and so that's kind of where my time's been going, because I need to be motivated to be creative again, to think and to write. Like I've been writing a lot because I've been working on this book, and it's just like I need fuel in the brain. And it used to come from games for a while, but I do feel like I lost like 4 years of creative drive somehow, and for multiple reasons. I did want to turn to YouTube a little bit more as a creative funnel. I want to get it back and forth. I want my brain flowing again. I've been following this thing called X Killer for a long time. I'm not sure if this was like I'm not sure where this popped up. I have no idea if this was recommended. I feel like this wouldn't be something I just found. It does feel maybe like, I don't know, Fallout meets Cyberpunk. I'm not sure. I don't even think I saw a trailer of this, but I did tag it, and I'm just keeping an eye on it to see if maybe it was early release or something and it's not out yet. But anyways, we got Gloomhaven. I kickstarted the actual like the board game editions. Anyway, the board games from oh God, I'm tangling up. I'm not cutting around it, and so it's like I cut around so much. I'm not going to cut around that. I ended up backing the Kickstarter for Gloomhaven, the original product that got launched years ago. At this point, I did an unboxing of it back in the old personal channel. So I don't know where that video went at this point. Everything's kind of gotten killed along the way. Anyways, I love the idea of Gloomhaven, the board game. I can't speak right now. Maybe I drank too much Iron Maiden wine. Look, as I said it, I was like, don't even say that out loud, man. Okay, so Gloomhaven, the board game, if for those of you who are not familiar with how this works, is that it actually has choice consequences, but as a board game. So you buy the board game, and it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. I got every extra that you could have gotten with this board game. It was well up in the 3-figure range at the end of the day, and then shipping was a kick in the ass. Listen, I still haven't opened it. It was a lot of money. But I love the idea of being able to play something, and then you make a decision, and then something disappears off the map. It's gone. You want that again, you buy another Gloomhaven. It's a lot of money. So it's like, it's going to be one experience with a group of friends, and you're going to live and breathe the Gloomhaven setting until that's it. That's the story of Gloomhaven, and that's the experience. And so you kind of pay it as like this ultimate experience, and I love the idea of that. And then I ended up backing Frosthaven, which was the sequel of Gloomhaven as a board game, similar kind of mechanics, but it's like in an Arctic plane. I was like, why not? I'm about to move. Let's just drop another high-digit, 3-digit number into this. Maybe I can play it by myself, like with Gloomhaven, like as a board game, but on the PC. And that way it's like, the one that happens with the board game is going to be with my group of friends, but it's like the group of friends experience is going to be that Gloomhaven. But then if there was a digital copy, I always have an option to go back into Gloomhaven and then enjoy another version of it, or play things that I might have blocked out. I have an opportunity to come to Gloomhaven. We got Pathfinder. I do have one of the Pathfinder ones. I forget what it's called. I have Oh, the Kingmaker? Is that what it's called? And then I think that was on GOG. I'm keeping an eye on Wrath of the Righteous. I do want to play them in order of release. I think these were Kickstarters as well. I do have the Adventure Paths. I was collecting Adventure Paths back in the day. I might have gotten somewhere into the 60s or 70s. I know Kingmaker is in there for sure. I was starting to read it to run it as a tabletop campaign back, I don't know, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It was a while ago. These are old. And then this Wrath of the Righteous, I don't recall this name, but I likely have this as a tabletop, as a 6-part Adventure Path book series as well. So I wouldn't spoil myself, of course, so I wanted to play the game. I'm a little bit familiar with what Kingmaker is all about, if that's the name of it. I could be completely getting it wrong. So this was it was the last long-running tabletop game I ran as a GM. I probably ran it might have been a 4 or 5 year game in Pathfinder. I did Numenera as well. Talking about Numenera, I went from Pathfinder system to the Numenera system, and then Torment Ties of Numenera is the spiritual successor to the Planescape game of the late 90s, and Planescape is again a series of tabletop books that are from Dungeons and Dragons from the early 90s, so 90 to 95, 96, and I own everything for the Planescape setting. It was one of the first settings that I ran as a GM for. I think that campaign was like 4 or 5 years long, and I love it. I love the setting. It's one of my favorite settings of all time. One of the most inspirational settings of all time for me. The other one being Ravenloft of the Dungeons and Dragons. Other brands that they had back in the early 90s. Dark Sun is another great one. Monte Cook, the guy who was one of the main contributors to Planescape, he ended up creating Numenera. And so Numenera is, the concept of the game is nothing like Planescape, but it's so high concept and out there that sometimes it feels like it could be. And so I like the idea that he kind of took both those things. He took Numenera and the Planescape video game project that he worked on, and then he made a spiritual successor to that with Torment, Ties of Numenera. So it does have mostly positive, both of these games, but at the same time, I'm curious enough to at least keep them on a list and keep an eye on it. Subnautica. I ended up recording without commentary. I did a whole playthrough. When was that? It was before I had the nerve injury and stuff and had to go offline. I ended up playing it, but I wasn't recording it because the setup I had to keep taking it down when people had to see the house because the house was up for sale, and it was just, my setup wasn't right. The mic had to be put away. Like, it was too much work to put something together and record. And so I ended up playing that game. I had it on sometimes, but it just it's not going to make for an actual playthrough. I'd have to do post-play commentary on top. So I have an idea of what I would like to do with the footage. I haven't thrown it away. I've got the entire game. There's some really cool moments, but I'd have to narrate. I'd have to do some, I don't know, some nature show commentary. It's like a DVD behind the scenes commentary, maybe, if I could still remember some of it. I don't remember everything that I went through, of course, in the game, but anyways, I love the experience. I love the game. It was a really, really good time. I really enjoyed it. I forget how many hours I put into it, probably 60 hours run, and yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Do I wish I would have recorded it with like live commentary? Yes, I really do. I didn't think it'd be a game I could pull it off in for whatever reason. Not just the life stuff going on, because I could have just waited and played the game when I could have done commentary on top of it. But I was already going through like stuff. I was already going through stuff, thinking about the channel and how I want to approach it, because the life stuff was going on, and so I had more time to think about that stuff. And then the injury happened, and I had to double down on the thinking because I had no choice. I couldn't be on a keyboard and mouse for more than 15 minutes without pain, and so it's just like that's where we're at. I ended up saving the footage because I wanted to do something. I tried to make something of it, but it wasn't working out, so I trashed that project. And then we'll see what comes of it. But I am keeping an eye on Below Zero. Now we're going to go into game suggestions that would probably more than 2 years older. They're more in the indie side of things, and I got a whole list of them from a buddy that I worked with like 20 years ago. He's an indie developer now. He makes his own games, and anyways, it was just fun to kind of get a list of suggestions from him, and some of the kind of mixed in here. I don't remember where they are, but like Helltaker, for example, seems like something he would have maybe suggested, but I don't know anything about it. Wow, it's actually free to play. Overwhelmingly positive, but I'm not sure. I would like to watch a trailer with this. We'll maybe do a reaction, and we'll do a bunch of reactions, I think, is what's going to happen in the beginning of the year. We're just so I can get some feedback out there and spin up some buzz, and then we'll put them on a list, right? And we'll go from there. Dicey Dungeon. I like these like random casual things that I could just play. Sometimes you turn it on, you just have this short fun time for like half an hour, and then you put the game away. And I don't have time for that anymore. I mean, I do, but then I'm like, how do I make them into product, and I that's what I'm trying to get away with. I just smacked my head, and now my allergies on my forehead, and now it's going to be like this is a self-conscious thing that I like have to fight around too. Anyways, we're going to move on. Now I have something called dermatographia. So if I rub my head or scratch or lean on a surface, I have skin writing. It's an immune system disorder. If my immune system thinks that I've cut myself, and so then I get welts like this just by touching my head, or like rubbing my wristband on my head by accident or some shit like that, and I get a mark, and everyone gets to see it, and I get to move on, and now everyone's going to keep looking at it because I've called it out. We're going to move on. So we have Buddy Simulator in 1984. I forget when this one got suggested. Again, when I hover over it, sometimes I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I think a little bit about Undertale, that kind of vibe to it. Like, it's got a very indie vibe, but I have no idea what's going on here. But it was suggested again years and years ago. I don't forget anything that you all suggest to me. I do put it here so that you all know that I'm keeping an eye on it, or I've already gotten it. Maybe it's one of those, or it's on my other list, which is on Google Keeps. Anyways, we're going to move on. Creedfall. The Devespe Conspiracy. Again, this would have been a DLC, and I didn't end up getting it because I see mixed, and I'm like, ooh. And a DLC for 10 hours? Yeah, I guess. If it's 6 hours, I feel like what I read, part of it was just it was too short for what it was, maybe. But for this price, it feels like it'd probably be, I don't know, to jump into that world. But mixed reviews, and so I'm not sure. I'm just hanging on. Darksiders War Mastered Edition. This is always so cheap, and it has this World of Warcraft vibe to it, and of course that was the game that made me stop gaming. I was in World of Warcraft from 2005 to 2011, and casual most of the time, right? But it's just like, it just took up all my time, and it was one of 3 MMOs that contributed to me going, what am I doing right now with my life? Because there's so many other things I need to do, and I'm destroying parts of my life because of video game addiction, and so I stopped playing video games, and I focused on making comics, which was one of my dreams, and I finished the comics, and then I finished another series. I did a 9-part series called Raven Evermore, and then I did a 4-issue series called Karoo the Black Lion, and I had a good time. I started a full-time job though, because it was going to be like a contract. It was a 1-year contract, and it was just to recoup some of the money I was spending in the production of the comic, and then it turned into I've been there 12 years, going on 13 years. Crazy. And life really has changed to some degree at that job because of YouTube, because of just the skills I picked up by doing this for 8 years. Like this freestyle, free flow thing that I picked up in these 8 years. I never had any of this shit. I couldn't do this. Like, I was an introvert. I didn't talk to anybody, pretty much. Like, I mean, I talk to people if I got to know them, but I'm in a position where I have to randomly present, sometimes to over 100 people, sometimes more. Like, it's just, and they might say, we need you in 5 minutes. And I go, okay, turn on the call, let's go. Right. And then I just roll with it. I know enough of what I need to talk about, and I'm confident in what I know. I know what I don't know, but then I know how to work. I know how to just banter like this, and I turn it into banter. Literally, like, we're gonna now have a conversation, because in my head I'm like, I have nothing planned. I don't plan for anything. I don't create slides for anything. I don't have plans. I just roll with it, and I enter rooms in a way that goes, what are you all thinking about? What do you want to hear about? What do you want to see? What do you want to know more about? Let's have an exchange so that it's an experience, not a product. You get what I'm saying? You see what I'm trying to say? It's all connected, man. Okay, we got the Veil, Shadow of the Crown. This probably got suggested to me by my indie developer friend, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure of anything about it, but I'm willing to watch a trailer and see what it's all about. It does say story rich right here. It's in an art style that matches him, and I know that Titan Souls was a recommendation from him. He's a big like high challenge player. He's very skilled, and so he's like Dark Souls, kind of like that would be his vibe, but like he loves indie games, and so something like this, he pitched it as like, it's basically pixelated Dark Souls. It's really difficult. Oh, it says right here, Souls-like. So yeah, and look how cheap it is. It's almost always this cheap, man, folks. So if you know anything about it, or if you don't, well, go check out Titan Souls. We got Superflight. I don't remember. I think you're flying as a bird. Like, I don't remember. I know that this is very cheap all the time, overwhelmingly positive. I'm like, what is this game about? It's so cheap though. Procedural generation, casual, and I think you just fly around landscapes as a bird. It's supposed to chill you out. I'm like, hey man, but for under $1, Canadian. You just turn it on, you chill for a little bit. Maybe it's got like music tied to it, and it's like just like a zone out thing, you know. We got Zero Ranger, very much one of his suggestions as well. We got a shoot 'em up indie, Bullet Hell. He was a big Bullet Hell player. That's what he played. Oh god, he was so good at these things. I'm like, how are you even seeing what you need to do on the screen? I don't even know where to, like, I can't even see you like in that mess right now. So yeah, so Zero Ranger, these are games that would be extreme things for me to get involved in, because I am not who I was even 15 years ago when we met. It was, oh my god, it was like 20 years ago now. We worked together, and then we just became. But yeah, he's a good bud. But it's like we just found each other again. Like, I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. We're just like because we moved to different parts of the world, and then came back, and then it's like, well, now he's like an hour and a half away from me or something. I had 2 hours away, but it's just like, oh shit, like how did we just stumble on each other again? It's like, cool. So we got Despo's game. What is this? Battle Simulator. What does this say? Tactical roguelike. We got pixel graphics. He's also roguelike band. There we go. So maybe it's something like that going on here. Curious though. If you're not familiar, there you go. Just dropping some more game names for folks to check out while I'm going through here. And then we got Pathfinder Adventures. Like I said, I ran this for a long time, and then we ended up playing the card game version of this, which is actually a lot of fun. It's like it was hit and miss. Some of the design elements of the card game, they were hit and miss. The more we played it, the more it got redundant, because we knew the cards, right? So it was like it surprised us less. The guy who owned this, he had all the expansions though, and so then we were able to expand on things so that it made it more interesting. I figured I'd keep an eye on the video game version of this to see if I wanted to ever dig into it again. I had a chance to come in and play around. We got Aeon's End. This was another stack set like a stack. Yeah, stack. There's literally a stack of board games I just unpacked out of one of the boxes that I brought back to this house and from the storage unit, and I forgot how many Aeon's Ends expansions I got from Kickstarter. I think I got the base game and maybe 3 expansion box sets. Oh, so but I'm like, I think you can solo play this, which is might be why I backed them, because I wanted something like a board game I could solo play. But then there's a digital version here, and I'm like, oh, I could probably, like, just to practice the rules, like really know them, so that if I ever played with other people, then I could understand the rules well enough that we could just get the game started, right? And people wouldn't have to like learn the rules as well while they were here. We might only have 3 or 4 hours, just get into the game and play, right? So Aeon's End, I remember having a lot of fun with the base game. I remember. I definitely played the base game. Did you definitely play it? I think I did, but it looked like fun. I actually don't remember if I played the base game. I don't remember. I don't remember. And we got Game Deck Definitive Edition. This is a cyberpunk detective CRPG. I don't see the CRPG elements right now when I'm flashing the screen. It looks like there's a person down in the corner. So again, this would be a trailer I'd like to watch and delve into and see what the game is more about. What the game is about more. Anyways, Burnhouse Lane. Let's move on. Burnhouse Lane, an indie game side scroller. Choices matter. And so again, these are always usually on sale when it comes to these seasons, and it's another game that I'm keeping an eye on. Trails in the Sky. I feel like this was a recent suggestion, and I just recently looked up the date of this release. I don't think it's 2014. I was working on my chronology list on Google Keeps, and I feel like this wasn't a 2014, or I had a typo in there or something, so I needed to go check it out. It might have been a release date for PC, but maybe this was on console before. I'm not sure. The Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky. Feels like it would be a big game, like an over 100-hour game. It's a JRPG. I wanted to kind of tap into JRPGs as well. Persona 4 would have been my kind of gateway into that, but then I wanted to maybe expand a little bit more and delve into other options, so maybe that's when it got suggested. Along the way, it's when I started talking about Persona 4 and JRPGs, and I know, it's weird because I shut it down now, but I was going to do, like, the anime channel was going to be an anime, manga, and JRPGs. I was going to, and visual novels. I was going to bring it all into that cluster of content. Maybe it would have worked. Don't know. I don't care anymore. Just like I need to consolidate because I have to write. And I need time. I'll talk about that in the New Year's update because I got like something, I'm working through something. I could talk about it here a little bit. Sneak preview. I will. So there's like this idea I came across on some video. Someone was talking about, and I forget who they were. I'm quoting someone who was quoting something, and I don't remember either now. But the idea of it being that there's a list of 3 things, and then when you want to do a 4th thing, you got to remove one of the 3 things. So you got to go, okay, you can start this other thing, but which one of these 3 things have to come off the plate? you don't even think about them anymore. You just put them in the icebox. I call it an icebox now because I don't know what the actual code is anymore. But the concept has broken down into you have 3 active things, and then when you want to do a 4th one, you got to go what goes in the icebox. You just bury it, because it's sort of what I do now. But what ends up happening is like I'm cycling through things so fast that I'm going like I'm doing 10 things, but then none of them really get done. I got to stop that. That shit's got to get knocked off. Like I got to go back to let's finish something, and then like the 3 things that are on the docket are like these things are finishable. So what are those 3 things? And then one of those needs to get finished before I can start messing around with things, But 2 of them are sacrificable. Like it might be something like that I work out. I'm not sure. I'm trying to work out the actual theory, but I want to create comics again. I got an unfinished comic project. I want to get out the door in 2025. I need to finish it. It's like it's production based. It's like I gotta invest some money in it. I gotta finish it up, and I'll probably start another Kickstarter for it. And I just gotta get back into it. I gotta finish things, man. And so, yeah, the channels are gonna have to be something that I got 3 things. I got 3 things, and so I gotta find out what projects am I willing to commit to. So I forget the reason why I derailed. It was something tied to the whole anime and the other channel. And so channels for me now are more like, where am I just putting things because I needed a document for myself? Like I like to document some stuff along the way, which is why you're seeing re-uploads on this channel where they're like recut together old content on this channel, but repackaged as a more cohesive experience, maybe more streamlined to some degree. It's more of a an abridged series of it, or if it's like something like episodic or chapter based, like Telltale games or games like that, then I would like to just release the full thing, right? If it's under 10 hours, because I like to review old content sometimes. I like to go, hey, what was I saying back in 2018 or something like that when I was playing games back then? Like how was I approaching them? How was I talking? I just like to investigate them and then see what can I learn from this still today. 6 years later, let's say in that 2018 example, what can I go back to 2018, rewatch, and go, what can I learn? And I'm not just saying for channels and for YouTube and productions, No, it's more like as an experience. How did I grow here? What are qualities I've taken away? Can I maybe re-explore those in a different way? I'm really get investigatory. Is that the word? Yes, that's the word I'm going to use now. Investigatory. Is that a word? I don't even know, but I'm gonna move forward about my experiences, because I feel like the biggest takeaway I got this year was the whole, again, how YouTube has impacted the way that I do my real world job, and things are going well. That's all I can say, and it's all thanks to how I've evolved because of YouTube. So I'd like to see if I can pull more of those ideas out of my experiences along the way, so that these 8 years still they have meaning behind the product. It's an experience that I'm also kind of investigating for myself. Let's move on. We have Star Wars Jedi The Fallen Order. They look at 90% off, folks. This is crazy. This just recently got suggested in one of the updates, or maybe it was on Discord, that the game was actually pretty good. Now it says very positive, so I mean that's still good, right? I think, what is that, close to an 80% or something like that? I forget what the whole rating. I forget what the breaks are. But anyways, Jedi The Fallen Order. I feel like I remember someone playing this, but it's impossible. There was a Star Wars game, but it would have been before 2010 Star Wars game. I remember someone playing something, and it looked pretty fun. But this is 2019, so I'm not sure it was this one. I remember people getting thrown around, but I mean that's a Star Wars game. You got Jedi powers. We got Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemma. I believe, is this a psychological horror? Yeah, this is a visual novel. I thought so, but when I do this, I don't really see it. I see like a Persona-esque game, not more than I do a visual novel, but that's why we'll watch trailers together and look at the price. So more visual novels on the list that I would like to investigate. Oh, I still remember like someone, maybe this was a community post that someone suggested this one on, and that it was like an old Ninja Gaiden. And I was like, oh my God, I have such crazy memories. I almost did it again. Don't smack your forehead. The red marks are going away. It's like I have, like, because I could not clear Ninja Gaiden. I recall there being a part with some wall thing that I got stuck on, and it was just a no-go. I remember my buddy getting stuck on it, but he was adamant to like clear it, and I believe he did. And back in those days, you know what I mean, like you can't look shit up, you gotta pound your head against the wall. But anyways, the Messenger is supposedly it's in that spirit, that vibe. So I've been keeping an eye on it, and look at that, 80% off. If you're not aware of the game, there you go. It's a platformer, retro-style Metrovania, and it's like Ninja Gaiden is what I've been told. We got Sea of Stars. I forget how this one got talked about inside the comments, because I barely remember This one get suggested, but if it's here, it's because it was suggested. I don't just go looking for games. Everything on this list is because it's come from somewhere else, from all of you. Whether it was this channel or another one like manga or JRPGs when I was talking or giving out other updates, it's all come, or the Discord, like it's always out from, it's from out there. Deep Rock. So pixel graphics, JRPG, turn-based combat. It's probably a long game as well. I'm keeping an eye on it. We got Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I lied. So this one is, this was like, I forget who was playing this one, but it looked amusing as hell. And I was like, okay, let's keep an eye on it. But it's a bullet hell. Oh, because it reminded me of Vampire Survivors. And so I was like, not really, not kind of. So like whatever I saw was like, it kind of reminds me of that. And I really enjoyed Vampire Survivors. Talking about Vampire Survivors, I know they got a bunch of updates. I've updated it, but I've never gone back into the game since I did that grind 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. I was in the top 0.1% completionist runners out there when I first released the game on the channel. Oh man, those are the days. That was an addiction, man. I love that game. I had to unlock all the secrets. I got all of the secret characters, and then they just kept on doing expansions and updates and more secret characters and more game. And I'm like, I don't. This is so big. I used to be special, And now it's like I have no idea where like what's left to play and how much more there is to unlock. I can only imagine that it's like 3 or 4 times the game at this point, and I had already dumped so much time into that game. It was so addictive. Anyways, and then so this one kind of reminded me of it. And then this one got suggested with some of the earlier games there. Stick It to the Man. This looks like it's an older game for sure, but I feel like I saw a date that might have been even earlier than this. I'm not sure. 2013. I feel like I have 2009 in my head. I don't know anything about this game, but it's one of those. It's comedy adventure platformer, and maybe it's very difficult. I'm not sure. I'd have to watch a trailer to see more about it. So as you can see, that's the list. This one 45 minutes, man. I don't know what you're all saying, but it was a pretty decent. This is a long, unexpected update video that would have been just watching 1 or 2 trailers. But my thing was, as I even thought about what I was going to be scrolling through, I was like, this is going to be such an assortment of games that this would be. It would make for a good video, because like I'd be all over the place. There'd be no cohesion behind it, and so I figured like maybe I organize some of these into more thematic bundles of experiences. Like I would like to react to all of the visual novels, for example, but then I also go, yeah, but when I click into one, right, let's click into one as an example, and I'll kind of I'll walk through what I'm thinking as a wrap up. So the Nonary games, for example, like we have this trailer, but I know there's a second trailer down here, right? I'd like to read the descriptions, for example. Maybe we just scroll down, we read some of this together, and then maybe I risk it and I come in here just to see what people are leaving as reviews. And now I've usually had good experiences with reviews where they don't get spoilery. They're really good about that. The community is I've always had a really good experience. I was going to say always. Should never say always. I've had a really good experience with reviews not spoiling things. Or if they're going to, they kind of warn you. But anyways, maybe we check that out together. And we see very positive things like that, right? Just break things down. Check the bundles. Check out the bundles. Like, look at that. There's like a bunch of them in here, right? There's the Zero Escape in this bundle. There's the AI, the Simonian files. What is this one? It's like an initiative. So again, for $28, 83% off, man. So if I want the games, I could get all of them, get another savings. You know the drill. So this just turns into like a buying trap, as it is always want to do. I know all the time, of course. How do I have 30 hours on record for Steins Gate? I mean, I know how that happens. I think I left it on sometimes, so it's not 30 hours of gameplay of like playing the world line 5 times. Because that would be what? That'd be like 6 hours each play run? No, it's not true. Why am I talking about this in this update? And with Steins Gate is going to happen. All right, I have this one to look forward to. The Alpaca Man is in here. So why am I scrolling down? Don't still look at it. There is a community post right now on the channel. Maybe I'll put the link in the description below, which introduces the idea of this impression series that I want to run. And the idea behind this being I will play 2 hours of a game. So I might play 2 hours of Class of '09. And if it passes a certain set of metrics, which I've already defined, I've created an algorithm on the algorithm, because fuck the algorithm. So I got my own to measure it based on patterns I've seen that are fulfilling to me. So when I see that, I will continue the game as a series. If I don't see that, then we're going to do another impression video on another game, and I'm just going to not icebox them. I'm going to put them in a casual slot. So you'll learn more about this on the next update, which will be the monthly updates. I'll still keep doing those, or do them bi-weekly, so I can just talk about the experience of doing this channel. 1% of people watch, right? You can turn this channel back into the experience of discovery, which is how it started and why I started Let's Plays to begin with. It wasn't that the gaming channel was a gaming channel, it was a vlogging channel, but I wanted to investigate how to create gaming content, and it just turned into that for the next 8 years. It's a long time, man. Been at this for a long time, but it's just but it hasn't been steady. It hasn't been 8 years of full-on gaming, right? But the first 5 years absolutely were. I was 3 uploads a day. Like, it was a couple games on the go at once, and it was a lot of fun. I really did. Those 5 years were great. It was always a 5-year plan, and by gosh darn it, I stuck to it. But on that 6th year, I started asking a lot of questions about things, and then those things the questions became more interesting than the games I was playing, and that's what got us to here today, 4 years after that moment, 3 years I guess after that moment. And now I want to get back into the headspace I was in 2019, 2020. I've been at the end of 2020 is when I started pondering what the experience was all about. We were all going through crazy things with the world, right? And so maybe that contributed to a lot of the extra thinking that I had going on, the life stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then here we are. I have auxiliary motivators for why I want to reapproach this channel in a different way mentally. And then we'll see where it goes, man. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, and maybe it doesn't matter. And that's the point I'm kind of making in 2025. I just want to have a cool, chill time, and I want to feel inspired again. And it's not always the games I play that inspire me. It's the connections and the experience of also putting things online, sharing, getting feedback, getting all of these recommendations from people. I was like, years have passed, right? And these suggestions might have been suggested by people who are no longer on the channel, which is totally, that's cool. Everyone moves on, right? But it's just another scenario of like, when time is crazy, man. Time is crazy. So like, do not underestimate and underappreciate. Do not underappreciate the value of time in your life, and really focus on things that make you happy, inspire you, right? Make you want to create things, leave things behind in the world. It's not always creative products, right? It can be families, it can be work, it can be just fulfillment, can be travel, whatever is cool for you, right? Whatever you want. And so, wow, I'm yapping on a very long yapping video as it is. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you for hanging out here with me for this however long video I end up cutting for you, probably in that 40 range. I'm almost hitting the 1 hour mark. And so I will wrap this up, and we'll see what you're all saying about the games that I walked through and talked about on this wish list. And this is just a Steam wish list. Usually I try to consolidate everything here, so I have one list to look at. I got some GOG ones. I got Amazon Prime. I download so many games for free every month. Like they offer games for free. I just grab all of them. I don't know what I'm going to play, folks. But that could be another vlog, right? I just show you, here's my GOG library, and most of it is Amazon Prime stuff that I bought. We can walk through that together. You know what I'm saying? Like, just have some cool casual vlogs about stuff, gaming topics, man. And maybe this might expand in next year, right? This might turn into more of a thing that we do, and we just, if people want to hang out, for the people who want to hang out, right? Not everyone will want to, and that's cool. I'm cool with unsubscribers along the way as well. I actually am, because well, it helps the channel. It helps the channel for people to like tap out. If it's not for them, just tap out. And subscribers, they're as meaningful as you make it out to me. They're not meaningful to channels anymore. Subscribers are meaningful to people who want a place to go on the YouTube platform experience to find the things that they've subscribed to. Other than that, it doesn't have any real value anymore. Just watch the content if you enjoy it. You don't have to be a subscriber, right? Watch what you like, and that's it. That's it. Like, enjoy your time here, right? Everyone's time is precious. Thank you for sharing yours with me tonight, today, this morning, next year, this year, still, 2024. Soon to be 2025. My throat's actually, I'm about to lose my voice within seconds. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you very much. Don't forget to explore, engage, inspire, ready. Peace. Till the end. Iron Maiden wine to help me lubricate. Goodbye, everybody. Really? Not even gonna use a cup? Nope. I'm a barbarian. Rawr.